Hello everyone and welcome to Let's Play Simcity. On this episode we are going to continue the tutorial a bit and see how far we can get. I also was going to show you that I actually acquired a PDF of the original manual to SimCity, and the original manual is actually very informative. It had about 45 pages to it, at least according to my PDF, and I remember I have the manual at my parents' house growing up somewhere. If it still exists, I don't know, maybe I could find it, but at least I found the PDF for you guys. And one of the things I wanted to mention in the PDF, or the manual rather, was that you have zone growth and you have different types of zones. And for residential, by the way, you're gonna have like a low, medium, upper, and high. And then a commercial zone you have a low, medium, upper, and high, but industrial only have low and high. And you can actually see zone types too. Of course, you've got residential 1 through 4, commercial 1 through 5, and you also have a residential top and a commercial top. So if you want to look at this a little closer, just pause the video. But let's go back to the game. You can actually see the zone types too, by the way. If you do this and you click on the magnifying glass, you can see what, where the zones are. So that's kind of interesting. Another thing I wanted to point out was you can actually do zone stacking. And since these zones aren't very well built, I'm going to show that off and see if I can accomplish this. First of all, let's get rid of these zones. And I'm going to put power back over there. And these zones are going to need some power. Actually, I'm kind of low on funds, so let me skip ahead to the next... year and get some funds, and then we'll continue. So hold on. Oh, and by the way, if Dr. Wright senses you're like not doing much or whatever, he'll give you this message. Don't worry about it. Oh, and by the way, if you'll notice here, these two zones right here are at their peak. If they develop any further, they will actually join together and create the C-top. So we'll see if that happens anytime soon. And also, the residents are starting to demand a stadium. They'll do that once you hit about 30,000 Sims. So here we hit 30,000 already. So that's a good step in the right direction. And don't worry about the pollution warning, you're going to get that regardless. Alright, our budget screen, okay, good. So let's go with these figures. And I'm going to show you the zone stacking. So I'm going to go ahead and pause it just so we can kind of set this up, because I don't want any growth to happen while we're doing it. What I'm going to do is, well, we'll need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about $600 to get, or 600 Sims rather, to get this done. And hopefully this will work on the right try. Who knows. So anyways, what we're going to do is I'm going to put up 2 residential zones here and speed it up just a little bit. And first power is going to develop on these zones. And get a bulldozer ready. Now you're going to have zones develop. Now the houses in a residential zone are first going to develop kind of like a donut around this area. So it's interesting. And the manual does mention zone stacking, so, it's not like it's something that was a bug that nobody ever wanted to find out. I mean, the developers knew about this, and they probably wanted you to exploit it. So what you can do, I'm going to go ahead and delete some of these houses up here, because I don't want the house to completely go around, or else the zone's going to, build itself up. Okay, I'm going to pause it just for a second here. It's a little tricky to do this, but I'm going to put a commercial zone here, and let me speed it up a little bit more. Now, I probably won't be doing much zone stacking in the future, it's just kind of a pain in the neck, but I at least wanted to show that this can be done. So I've got to wait for a house to develop here. And then once we do, and this zone is not going to develop, by the way. This zone, rather. This is what I'm looking at. That's not going to develop just yet. Okay, good. Pause, pause, pause. You don't have to pause, but I just want to make sure this Let's Play works, so I don't have to redo it or anything, because that would be kind of tough. So anyways, we got these 2 commercial zones here, right? Well, guess what we can do? We can kind of, stack zones, so let's see what happens. And this zone is going to need some rails, so there we go. And our population's doing really well too. And technically I think this commercial zone should develop normally, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, I think that's gonna work. We're already at 38,000 without a stadium. And see, look, this residential zone's already... commercials on top of the residential. So... yeah, the game is not really aware of, well, I mean, the zone is going to have its population regardless, even though it's stacked on another zone, so, you know, you can do that if you want. I'm not going to exploit that too much. And we're already at 40,000 sims, that's actually... oh, this is, by the way, this is an R-top. So both of these residential zones hit their, max, and now they've peaked out, so that's nice. Hopefully these commercial zones will do that too. And our goal, of course, in the island is to hit 100,000 sims, which is completely plausible. I mean, look, we're already approaching 50,000, you know. So I think we'll be able to make it. Okay, I'm going to skip ahead just a little bit, and I'll see you in a few. I'm going to do something really silly. So I'm going to pause the game for a second, and I'm going to play with zone stacking just a little bit more. I just want to see if this works. There we go. And I think it's about time for a stadium, so let's put a stadium somewhere. And let's build out the city a little bit more. A stadium is going to kind of put a cap on your city, so go ahead and put that stadium there. And we don't really have to connect it up with rails, but yeah, I think it'll be fine. We can just kind of do this number. There we go. Now they got some access to it. You don't have to do that, I guess. But we might as well have a little bit of fun with the game. Oh, and by the way, if I didn't mention the 2x2 grid here, there's kind of a little bit of debate among people that play SimCity. Some people argue that a donut block is actually better than this 2x2 grid, and even the strategy guide versus the manual can't agree. And I'll show you that. The strategy guide, the actual Nintendo Power Super Nintendo strategy guide that came out, and I think it was 91 or 92, it'll explain maximizing space as a 2x2 grid. But of course in the manual, it has this diatribe about the donut block. And I find there's actually a little link somewhere, I'll try to put that in the description, that actually explains that the donut block is worse than the 2x2 grid, because you actually waste more space of the donut block with rail, and rails take up space as well, so that's something else to think about. So I think it's kind of interesting. Anyways, there's a little bit of math involved in this game, even on the surface. Also, we got our next gift, the zoo. This can go anywhere. I'm going to put it near a residential zone. Doesn't really have to be there, but, you know, it's going to increase land value, so why not? Alright, let me skip ahead a little bit. Let me see if we can reach 50,000 anytime soon, and we'll start expanding the city out. Okay, great! We've got a congratulations on reaching a city of 30,000 people. So, now our goal is to build the city even bigger. And it's kind of weird that he waited this long. We're already nearly 50,000 and he does this, but whatever. So, You give a little nice little congratulations from him if you reach 30,000, but we want to hit 100,000 in this area, so let's see what we can do. I'm going to skip ahead just a little bit and get a little bit more money, since we got some time left in the video. Okay, we've ended the budget for that year. We're at 1906, which I think is a good year now to start developing some more zones. I mean, I'm not going to leave you hanging. I want to have a few more minutes left and expand the city a little bit more, so let's do just that. We can't really put a zone there, can we? We can't put a zone there, can we? Nope. I'm going to try to put some more zones around here. We're running a little low on space down here. Whoops. That's why we got a bulldozer. And by the way, the power plants, the nuclear zone will actually cover 200 zones, but you have to put them near the zones. There's actually a bug where the electricity will actually go around in a certain route. And so if you put all your nuclear power plants on one corner of the map, then another corner of the map may actually have brownouts. So that's why you may see brownouts every now and then, because the electricity has to find kind of a route, and there's a distance with the route. So that's something I didn't know until recently. So it's an interesting thing, though. And I'm going to clear out this. I don't want a zone there. I'm going to put this there, because we need, there we go. We need some sort of a thing there. And we need more commercial zones. And industrial. Whoops. I'm going to put a little bit of a barrier here. And we need some residential zones too. I'm not worried about police stations just yet. We'll deal with the crime when we deal with it. Our population's the biggest concern right now. Whoops. Oh, I got some residentials next to the industrial zones, don't I? You know what, let's leave it like this. I'm going to show you what might happen if a residential is too close to industrial. It just means that the growth may be limited on it. And I want to at least explore that option, I suppose. And we can convert some zones later if we have to. Also, the zone stacking. This is what zone stacking does. Isn't that cool? Sometimes you kind of have to be a little creative with it. So I'm going to redo this zone into a residential zone, because I want the growth to be a little higher with that. So, also, I'm going to put some parkland over here. And, yeah, let's see what happens with this. Let's put another police station down here, I guess. Because the crime may be a problem. And, let's see. I think that's going to do it for now, so let's see what happens. Alright. Let me speed up a little bit, and we'll see what happens. Okay, great. We just reached capital. So now we reached 50,000 people. So now we're talking about airports and seaports. I'm going to pause it for a minute, because I wanted to explain something. Especially on this map, these hospitals don't really count for anything, so get rid of them. Because it's just going to waste population. Education and schools, don't worry about it. It really doesn't do much for your population, so in this map, you know. And they'll pop up automatically. So when they do, I like to just get rid of them. Yeah, I know, pollution, I don't care. This may be like a 20-minute episode, I don't know. But I think we'll be okay. Okay, great. Make sure we're at the right speed. And the music's changed too for capital. So that's kind of cute, I suppose. And now we have 50,000 people. We have a scale model of the city. And let me show you that real quick. And we'll speed up a little bit, and then we'll find a good place to stop. But here's the scale model. And you can kind of go around here and view the scale model of your city. You have a little watch there. Just kind of cute. That's kind of nice that they did that. If you want to admire your handiwork, I suppose. Oh great, the zones are working with the zone stacking, so it's fantastic. Can't really put much of a gift there. So, let's see what happens in the next couple of years. Okay, great. And before I end the video, let's discuss one last thing. Now we're at 64,000 people, which is pretty nice. You know, I'll accept that. I think we'll be able to hit 100,000 people in this level without a problem. But right now there's kind of a cap on the growth, so what I'm going to do is add a seaport somewhere. Oh, and by the way, the residential zone, nobody's wanting to live down here. Let me get rid of these schools. We don't need schools. And hospitals. It's just wasting space. And once you get rid of them and rebuild, just keep redoing it. Because, you know, it's just wasting space, so. If you want to reach 100,000 people in this little island, you need every square inch you can get. And nobody's moving out there, which is interesting. So, anyways, we need a seaport now. And I'm just going to put it right here. And if we need another power plant, we'll put it somewhere else. This will work for now. Because there's not really a good place around here that I can put it just yet. I could probably put it in another area, but screw it. This will be fine. So anyways, now that we got the seaport there, let's see how the population goes, and then in a little while we'll end the video. So. Okay, I think this is a good place to stop, because we just hit 70,000. I didn't expect to hit 70,000 this early. So, everything looks good here. Let me give you one last look at the city. We're doing well. Our zone stacking is working out somewhat. It looks a little funny, don't worry about it. And I think the city's growing pretty well. So, we're at 70,000 people. We've got room for 30,000 people. 30,000 more people? I think we do. So thank you so much for watching Let's Play SimCity, and on the next episode we're going to see if we can maybe wrap up the tutorial and see what else we can do with this map. So thank you so much for watching and have a good day. Bye.